Disembodied voice, yeah, disembodied voice. Hello again to you. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the luxurious, posh studios. Brought to you by Impact Power Sports. That's where you go to pick up a Yamaha golf cart, any type of ATV, UTV, motorcycle, scooter, e-bike. They've got it all. Plus a full-service department at Impact Power Sports. Outstanding. Let's see what another day brings us. Welcome to it. Just had to deal with a disturbing text message, which, by the way, I now have set a record for continuous days with the same hoodie. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I always realize it at about this exact time. Now, with a hoodie, I don't know if it's necessarily like dirty. You know, I got a shirt on underneath it. Now, of course, I slept in this shirt, so I think I'm generally pretty disgusting. The question is, have I changed my underwear? And no. So, the last time I did any type of hygienic, brushing my teeth is definitely still a thing. And so that would mean that on Monday I woke up and I ended up bathing for the Grand Rapids Gold game. So clean clothes, clean body. And so there's that. But then I wake up Tuesday morning. No, everything stays the same. I wake up Wednesday morning. Everything stays the same. So that's where I am right now. I'm in kind of like this filth flux. You forget about that. And that's what Black Belt Nick says. He says the wonders of self-care when working from home. Exactly. I start to get an idea that I might need to bathe when I'm going pee-pee, and I can smell ball stank. You know, I'm like, oh, God, I smell my balls. My balls stink. Ben Glaze says hoodies are like jeans. Wear them till you absolutely need to wash them. And I've got a lot of hoodies. Yeah, I don't want to wash them if I don't have to. It's fine. It's no big deal. Becca Shea says, I work from home and I always change my underwear / clothes. LOL. Yeah. I think that you're just better at this than I am. It's honestly, I do not remember it until I actually get in here. And while I look at the camera, I also look at the screen. And I'm like, oh, I'm wearing the same clothes. I don't think about it even once while I'm doing the radio show and taking care of my chores that I have here. Honest to God, from the time I get up till right now, I'm busy. I'm not just fucking around. Now, of course, you cannot smell me right now. And the way my hair is cut, it doesn't take much to make it look like it should look if I'm going out on the red carpet. It's going to look the same. It's short, it's thick, and there you go, which is the way some of you like your penis, by the way, short and thick. I don't know who would, but some of you might. Hello to each and every one of you. I see Alan is here, Chris in Buffalo, Black Belt Nick, Ashley, Hurricane Ashley is getting in the habit again of being part of the listening audience. I don't know what took place to get her. Well, I mean, I do, but I'm not saying what got her out. I know what got her out of the habit of listening, and I know why she's back in the habit. but I think it just has to do with, oh, yeah, he's there. And she's all right in my book, generally. She says she's just here for Amy. She does love Amy. There's no question. She's a lot older than you, which I never. That's one of the freaks of nature. The fact that she looks so young, and she's not. I mean, she's old as hell. She's not as old as I am, but she's over 50. I still can't believe that. That would be, and her husband is Gary, who's hysterical. I love Gary. Chris says Gigglebox is like 65 years old and she looks 29. It's entirely true. Maybe it's because she's always chuckling. She is a little spunky little Gigglebox. But yeah, I finally got to know Gary a little bit when Gary showed up at the arcade at Pinball Land. And he's awesome. I'm like, what has taken these significant others so long to get on board with what's going on here? I mean, my God. Bread Bull Brain Chris says that is what it is. No frown lines. I've never heard of that. Branjo says, speaking of chuckling, I was listening to you and Ben on Who Are These Free Beers. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, I posted that this morning. I wasn't able to get the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast posted, but that is on the table for that will happen today. Which, that was a great one, too. We had an appearance by, I'm not kidding you, one of our audience members is actually, since he started listening to Where We Are Now, his star power, his Q rating has gone up considerably. And he's a guy who has his hands in so many different things. His name is John. And John is not only a mental health expert, but he's a magician. And he's a writer, and he's all sorts of shit. And he's really kind of taken off in all of these fields. He's a terrific magician, a wonderful soul. And I had all sorts of questions for him about magicians, because that's one of the things that when I start to watch Facebook, when I'm laying in bed, I've got a bunch of guys who do card tricks on there. I'm like, how the fuck are they doing that? I didn't ask him for... tell me how they're doing it, but he was extremely interesting to talk to. Becca Shea says, I enjoyed meeting Amy and Gary. Very nice people. Ashley says, my wife is forever 25, prettiest girl ever. And Ashley is not gay, but she is for Amy, I guess. I think it's Amy's bubbly personality. She's just absolutely hysterical. Love her. I don't think she's with us right this second. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, I went down a deep rabbit hole on the... I forget how to say that word. Mnemonica stack. You got to start with a very good brain to understand that stuff. Well, that means I'm out. Ashley says, I am unfortunately straight. Are you having boy trouble or something that I don't know about? I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. She says it's been a detriment my entire life. Alan says, I almost fell asleep listening to Who Are These Free Beers, and it wasn't because of EZ and Ben. Awful. Yeah, it was something else. It was something else. It was Hot Wings heavy because Free Beer couldn't make it in because he was stranded because of the no-fly zone over the area around Venezuela, that's some ridiculous fucking luck. My God. And Kelly had fallen ill. But I think the crew is back today and ready to go. Birch Barlow says no dancing pallbearers. What a shame. Precisely. I was hoping for lucky sevens. Did not get lucky sevens. So no official dancing pallbearers. I got some disturbing news this morning. I was seated here doing the radio show, and I got a text. And Pooh Bear said, she works in a school. She says, we are on lockdown. Oh, boy. So there's a period of time today when she and all of her cohorts and all of the young people, and she said they were on lockdown and nobody knew why at the time. That's quite disconcerting. Now it's fine. The lockdown has been lifted. I don't want to stretch this out longer than I need to with you wondering what the hell's going on. But you have that period of time where you're like, oh my God, what is going on? And I'm not exactly sure, but I know that in the local news there was a story, an incident where near where that school is, there was a shooting. And for a period of time, and I guess I don't know if they've apprehended the person. I'm assuming they have. The person who was involved in that was not accounted for. So, not sure what was going on, but they and I've never been involved in a lockdown. But I'm guessing there's a protocol, and you say something, and I don't know if it's as simple as just hitting the PA button inside of everybody lock it down, and you just shut the doors. I've been in this school many times, and the doors are they're like super doors. When those doors are closed and you got the steel jams, and there's no getting in, really. I'm thankful for that. Once that door is closed and it's locked, it would take a bazooka to get in. But still, there's always that. You never know. It can't always be where the students are all in the classrooms. It could happen. When the people are roaming the halls, you never, that's how a lot of these fucking things happen. Bread Bull Brain Chris is here. He says, this happened across the street from my buddy's house. Shooter still on the loose. No threat to public, apparently. I don't know how that could be. I don't know how that could be no threat to the public. But if they say so, all right. Apparently a big threat to the public was this chick not far from where we are here. Okay, so the U.S. sneaks into Venezuela, blows some shit up, snags the president, and his wife of Venezuela, and now he's going to face charges. So that's a huge story. And right away, the local hippies made their signs that said, hands off Venezuela. Free the Venezuelan people and leave Venezuelan oil alone. Now, a lot of people assume that the U.S. invaded Venezuela for oil. And I understand that. And I don't know. I have no idea what's up, what's down. I know that the U.S. has said, Trump specifically has said, yeah, we did this because we wanted to end the threat of narco-terrorism from Venezuela because of U.S. claims that Maduro is leading the largest drug cartel ever. So let's go ahead and take him out. Now, some people do believe the idea about that, that's why we did it. Now, I don't believe that. I believe we want that oil. So I kind of believe what the protesters are saying. I think when you have you can say, yeah, we're going in there to end narco-terrorism. In the meantime, you're going to take over the oil production. It's kind of like walking like a duck and talking like a duck. People say, easy, how do you feel about that? Do you care? No, I don't. I really don't. Why? Why don't you care? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not that, maybe you're a better American than I am. I don't give a shit. Birch Barlow says, either way, who cares? We come out ahead. Kind of. I don't give a shit. And I know that the people in Venezuela, they're looking at it as, oh, this is great. I saw one image of a Venezuelan motorcycle gang that are looking for Trump supporters in Venezuela to assault them. Now, they weren't really a motorcycle gang. They were all on mopeds, and one had a gun. And it looked pretty weak. So I think that there's nothing really bad about this. You get rid of a dictator. You cut the head off of the drug cartel snake. You get to rebuild the country's infrastructure. You get free oil, and the locals are happy. So that's a win on all of those. Now, do I think that we are just going to suck all the oil out of the ground and just like Galactus eating planet Earth? No, I don't think that. I really don't. But Trump has said himself, yeah, we're keeping the oil. Now, I don't know when they're going to stop keeping the oil. Why am I bringing all this up again? This is all shit you know. Well, there's some chick in Grand Rapids who was given an interview on TV, and thank you to Becca Shea for sending this along. She's doing an interview expressing herself on TV, and the next thing you know, she is arrested. She appeared to not resist, and now it's going all around the world. Everybody's like, well, why was she arrested? So I want to get it. I want to show it to you so we can all see together what actually is happening here. Police arrest young woman in Michigan mid-interview as she speaks against U.S. military action in Venezuela.
Apply pressure at all points that we can. This is not just a foreign issue. It's our tax dollars that are also being used to commit these war crimes. It is also the duty of us, the people, to stand against.
Okay, first of all, the term war crimes. To me, when I hear war crimes, I'm picturing like Nazi Germany, Slobodan Milosevic, in the Balkan War. Those are war crimes. So I don't know if this is a war crime.
Against the Trump regime, the Trump administration, that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car. And now right here, we're showing you video we have. Immediately after the interview finished, Plichta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video. And an officer tells Plichta that she is being arrested for obstructing a roadway and failure.
She's yelling. She's saying, I'm going peacefully, which is good. She should.
to obey a lawful command from a police officer. You can see as she's taken away in that car, she was issuing a number of messages about wanting the U.S. to free Maduro. But again, she was taken away by police officers there, and you can see in this video.
Okay, now there's the video of the people that were protesting. Free Venezuela, free Maduro, which is nonsense. They don't know. Wasn't that in the Bible? They know not what they are doing. Wasn't Jesus on the cross? Didn't he say, these people don't know what they're doing? In fact, if the Venezuelans see these people, they want to kick their ass. They're like, no, don't free Maduro. You know? So, I mean, the whole protest is stupid. And I think we agree with that. Everybody can be on the same page that this is a stupid protest.
Officers were closely following this procession in downtown Grand Rapids. We have reached out to GRPD for more information about the arrest, but we have not heard back so far.
I'm impressed with the quick mobilization of these hippies. They got their signs made. Everything was ready to go quite quickly. All right. Now, she was arrested for blocking the roadway and not following a lawful order. Now, I didn't see that in that video. I saw her standing on what appeared to be the sidewalk. So, I mean, there might have to be some clarification there. I'm not sure why she was actually busted. It's a little silly. But I can't, I think it went pretty well. She probably was just charged with some silly misdemeanor. And then that's the end of it. No big deal. Bread Bull Brain Chris says she was recognized from the protest, according to police. So she may have blocked the traffic at a different point, and they told her to stop, and then she didn't stop. So they kind of like waited a little, hey, there she is, and then got her. Okay. Now, if that's the case, let's just assume that that is the case. She actually did break the law. If I'm the cop, I don't want to arrest her. Okay? Because it's a pain in the ass. But if the chief says, "Hey, you got to get one of these stinky hippies and I need an arrest." Then okay, yeah, we see her. This is not a big deal. This is not a big deal at all. I have a hard time with this group who are protesting a dictator being arrested. Okay? Shut up, okay? This is not a big deal. Let him be arrested. You can't protest every fucking thing on the planet. Go be productive. Tyler says 0 protesters really know what they're protesting. They just like to be annoying. Bread Bull Brain Chris says she's a teacher too. She's going to corrupt many minds. So what he's suggesting there is that with her slant on the world, if she's supposed to be teaching a curriculum, her personal views would slide in. I would hope that a teacher would not do that. Stick to the curriculum rather than allow personal opinions seep into what the school is supposed to be teaching. Reading, writing, arithmetic, all that shit. Whatever. Ben says they should have arrested the camera operator too. Donut Dan says, are you freaking kidding? Have you seen a college campus? Yeah, that's true. College campuses, they, you start to get into that whole realm of creating the people like my sweet daughter with the idealistic left-leaning views of the world and forming those minds. I agree with that completely, that absolutely happens. I tell you what didn't happen is I was waiting for that to come up this past weekend when my beloved youngest daughter was there. at our house to bring up. If she had said free Maduro, I would have been like, what? How is this possible? Tyler says if our forefathers could see how annoying protesters are nowadays, they would have altered the First Amendment. Donut Dan, he does not like Greta Thunberg. Where was that dipshit Greta when all this was going on? Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, she believes she's right on a lot of things, and I think that I give her benefit of the doubt. I think she actually has good intentions. She wants to help people, but I think she's going about it in a way that ends up being a hindrance. You know? David says young people are stupid. Well, I don't know if they're stupid. Alan says, isn't she in the clink? Bread Bull Brain Chris adds, nothing wrong with wanting world peace and freedom for everyone, but the reality of the world is far from ideal. Dan says that Greta jumps from issue to issue to get attention. Again, we can't say that. We don't know that. We do not know that. She might be the tip of the spear for all that is right. We have no idea. Anyway, last night we had this rip-roaring edition, as I indicated, of Who Are These Free Beers, and then the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast available on Patreon. You can sign up for a 7-day free membership at patreon.com/Eric Zane, patreon.com/Eric Zane. 7 days free. You can even sign up for it and then cancel it as soon as you sign up, and you still get the 7 days. It truly is a easy way to get access to what is going on Patreon without any strings attached. Now, after the 7 days, you're like, oh, I want to keep it going. You can go back in and enable your card. It's all at patreon.com/Eric Zane. I have two platforms. I have the Patreon one, which is dollars and cents. Power it, your dollars and cents. And then the free one, which is this one. But the full show, the full free show is available only on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Follow me on there and subscribe to the channel. For the rest of you on Kick, YouTube, and Facebook, I'm sorry, but I have to kick you out. But go to Twitch to get the rest of today's show. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Thank you. If you want to say hello, you can do it via email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is the Shoreliners Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I had somebody, and before I kick you all out, I had somebody reach out and actually ask me a legitimate question about my time on the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. And somebody was like, hey, I'm late to the party, and I actually have questions for Eric Zane. And wanted to know about some of the history of the show. And because a lot of people have that mixed up. So the question that was asked was, how did you get mixed up in this whole operation with them? So they were a college show, kind of like this very amateur type of broadcast arrangement. And despite being an amateur show at a college, you know what the fuck they were doing, they had somehow managed to get a significant amount of audience that were following them in Omaha, Nebraska. One of the radio companies that existed at the time in the late 90s, early 2000s was a company called Journal Broadcasting. They were on in Knoxville, Tennessee, Journal Broadcasting. I work for a different company. Journal Broadcasting was on in Knoxville, Tennessee, and in Omaha, Nebraska. They were the rivals, and they wanted free beer and hot wings out of that town. So, Journal Broadcasting in Tennessee hired them. Now, very raw show, not a lot going on, just a couple of pukers. And now they have them out of Omaha. That's good. Okay? They put them on Morning Drive in Tennessee. I get fired in favor of the John Boy and Billy show, who just retired, by the way. And it was, let's see, just a handful of days before 9/11. 9/11 was on a Tuesday, so this was on a Friday. This was September 7. I get fired. I drive over to Journal because I know the guy who runs the radio station. I go, hey, I need a gig. He goes, okay. These guys, what do you think about this? I said, oh, it's ridiculously amateur. And he goes, I know, but we're stuck with him. Can you help? And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I can help. It's that bleak. He goes, well, that's all I got. I said, all right, I'll take it. So I start working with them, and that's when it all started. Now, just so happens that on Tuesday, September 11th happened, so it was baptism by fire. I showed up on the scene there, and it was very difficult because of all the things that happened September 11th related. But we were doing our thing, and the rest is, I guess, a story for another day. So I answered that question, and I even prefaced it by saying I'm probably going to get the shit beat out of me, but this is how it went. Because for some reason, people are interested in the history of how it all got started. There's all sorts of different chapters in that aren't really that interesting, honestly. But yeah, that is basically how it went. There were a couple big things that happened along the way that made syndication a reality. And one was Opie and Anthony leaving. Well, they got fucking canceled. And then the other thing was Howard Stern going to Sirius. And all of a sudden there was a void. Now, right now there's actually a big void because of the aforementioned John Boy and Billy show getting out of the game. They retired. So now there's all sorts of radio stations that are in need of a morning show. So we'll see who fills that. This is also the time of year when mass firings happen in radio. I might get it. I don't know. You never know. But this is my second stint with iHeart, and I'm 4.5 years in on this one, which is, I had no idea it had been that long. So typically it would have been January 2nd, Friday, January 2nd, or this coming Friday, January 9, when there'll be some mass blowout. Now, I already talked to my friends at Q100, and they said that they're going to re-up. I had done a 1-year deal with them the first 2 years that I was. March will be 2 years at Q100. I'll probably still be wearing this same sweatshirt at that anniversary, not washed. And I said, yeah, let's do it. I go, do you want to do another deal? They said, yes. I go, all right. Come up with whatever you like. And if you like, please make it a multi-year. I did the first 2 years, 1 year for a reason. And I said, but you have the option if you want to do a multi-year, by all means. All right. Anyway, I'll now send you folks on your way. Head over to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live if you want the rest of the show.